Time for you people to join up. Time for you people to join up in the union. Why not? Say card. They got one more. Remember?
Yeah.
Good. Stay with us. How you doing? Hey, you in the union?
No, I'm not.
Why not? You think about signing up?
Well, why should I join the union now? I'll get everything free. What's in it for me?
If everybody had that kind of attitude, we'd all have nothing.
When I started at the shipyard, I did the same thing. I used to avoid organizers like the plague. I didn't want to talk about the union. I didn't see any point. I thought I had everything. I didn't need the union to get it.
Through the power of the membership, the steelworkers have secured virtually all the rights and benefits that Newport News shipbuilders take advantage of today. Thanks to steelworker representation, workers have job security, fair wages, good working conditions, and more. But it wasn't always this way.
Well, before the steelworkers came, we had a union, but it was a company union. They did not represent the people. It was just something here to keep a good union from getting in the shipyard.
It was tough. We didn't have the grievance procedures that we've got now. We didn't have the safety that we've got now. And there was more accidents in the shipyard.
We were not getting a proper organization. We weren't getting our proper representation. And everyone felt that we weren't represented in a fair and equal way.
The company had always done what they wanted to do to employees, especially on the supervisor level. If a supervisor didn't like you, he could fire you for the way you wore your hair. He could fire you for the way that you smiled, or if you didn't smile. And by a good union coming into Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company, it took a lot of power away from the supervisor level right in the shipyard.
The workers were willing to do anything to join the steelworkers because they knew that as a group, they had power. And the more of them there were pulling together as a union, the greater their ability to fight for their rights. The company also knew this and was just as ready to fight back to keep that from happening.
I would say the company's main goal in keeping the steelworkers out was they knew they would have to sit down at a real bargaining table and be fair. They would have to abide by rules and they would have to pay people what they were worth, and they were scared of that. They had never done that in their, 75-year history.
The company discouraged the blue-collar workers in there, the supervisors would tell them, you don't want to join the steelworkers. The steelworkers aren't going to do anything for you. And the people down there believed it, especially our young people down there.
Well, as far as me being an apprentice, the main threat I think they held over us was, if you get involved in this union, if this union comes here, your grades are going to suffer. Consequently, when your grades suffer, they didn't come right out and say that, but they made us know that's what was going to happen. Consequently, if the grades suffer, you flunk out and you're out of a job.
The more non-union workers they have, the less money they got to give you, the less benefits. So they're real happy with that. They won't even let you talk about union benefits, anything on the job, because they don't want the organization. They don't want the 80% because they know that we'll get what we want.
Through their vote, the majority of the workers had decided they wanted to be steelworkers. Now they had finally won, but the fight was far from over.
We had the vote. The people voted the steelworkers in, and the company refused to accept us as a bargaining unit. We struck for recognition, is all we struck for. When we had the vote, the people voted the steelworkers in, and the company refused to accept us as a bargaining unit.
Well, when the steelworkers won our first contract here, or won recognition to be our union, we knew the company was going to fight just as hard. It was really terrible. They brought scabs in, caused so much tension that police had to be brought in. Our headquarters was attacked. People were beaten and arrested. They tried everything to break us.
After months of appealing the election in the courts, the company was ordered to recognize the steelworkers as the bargaining agent. It was nearly 3 years of struggle from the start of the organizing campaign to the time the first contract was won. It was the strength in numbers that enabled the steelworkers to win. It was the strength in numbers that gained the respect of the company, and it's no different today.
I think that it's the numbers that make them listen. Because without the numbers, you know, one small voice, nothing. But if you get 12,000 strong, they have to listen. There's no way around it.
In dealing with the company, you have no voice. The union is your voice. If you want to get a point across to the company, you come through the union, we will do it for you. We fight for you. We go to bat for you. To deal with that company one-on-one, it's total suicide.
Hey, they just hired you, and they can fire you and still get somebody else, bring another contractor in, you know, and take your job. That's what it's all about now. You here for a little while, you may be gone, you know. And it's best that we just pull together as a big number.
We're supposed to be the best in the world, but yet there are other places, say up in Connecticut, somewhere, where they're making $2 or $3, $4 an hour more because they're 100% union.
If we had a 50% union, we got a 50% contract. If we got a 60% union, we got a 60% contract. If we got a 70% union, we're going to get a 70% contract. And the bigger your percentage is, the better your benefits going to be. But they don't understand that.
Today, the union's ongoing battle is keeping the percentage of membership up, getting the workers to understand how important it is for them and their families that they belong to the union, to help keep it strong, to protect what they have, and to provide better representation in the future. Even with all that the union has accomplished over the years, many workers still find excuses not to join.
Usually there are 4 excuses that the non-member will give you, and one of them is money. He says he can't afford it. I try to point out to them, as I said before, that $6 a week, let's say that's an average. Where else can you invest $6 a week and get back what you get back? You can't afford not to be in the union. I mean, you're getting back 2 or 3 times more what you make. Just since the steelworkers have been here, the sickness and accident insurance has gone up $100 a week. That's $100 there. Your pension has gone up. Everything has gone up. So I don't want to hear that you can't afford to be in it. That's ridiculous.
You can't afford not to. When you say you can't afford, you cannot afford not to, because what you have now is because of what the union's done for you, what we fought for you. We've gone to bat for you. We've carried you. We pulled you this far.
Another reason I hear from the non-member that they don't want to join is strike. They're scared. They're scared of a strike. Well, the catch of the whole matter is the more members that are in the union, the less likelihood chance there is of a strike. And I try to explain that to them. When we go to the bargaining table, if we have 80% members, that company is scared, a whole lot more scared of a strike than you are. They cannot afford for 80% of the people to hit the street, so they're going to give you what you want. However, if you let that membership drop, you don't join, that membership's down, fluctuating around 50, 52, hey, the company says, well, you know, we might can afford that, number one. Number two, we don't think you're going to pull those people out. You know, you're not going to get them out. So by joining the union, you are actually lowering the chances, way lowering the chances of a strike. What's going to happen if they do force a strike on us and you're not a member? What are you going to do then? You're going to cross the picket line? You're going to hum and haw whether I should have joined or what?
As non-members, just as soon as something happens to them, the first place they run after they get terminated is right here at the union hall, and they haven't paid a dime.
Another reason they give is, I don't need a union. Well, you might not need the representative in the shop, okay? I'll go with that. But everybody needs money. Everybody needs job security. Everybody needs a good feeling, pride. Everybody needs pension. So I don't want to hear that. If you don't need that money, give it to a charity. Give it back to me. You know, so I don't want to hear that you don't need the union. As far as not needing the representative in the shop, you may think you're a perfect employee. Nobody messes with you. Your boss treats you good. you know, that's all fine. That may have been going on for 15 years, but one day you might get some young guy come in, your old boss retires, and he can't stand you. You don't know. You can't predict the future, what's going to happen. This man tries to write you up, he harasses you, and then one day you need that representative. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, the fact of the matter is, it's not whether you get in trouble or not. You know, who made up the 40-hour work week? The union did. Why do you get paid overtime? The union says you have to. They could tell you to get on a job and stay there all week, you know. You'd have to stay there. They could tell you, hey, your shoes don't look pretty to me. You're fired. The union says that can't happen.
One other reason I hear is, why should I pay dues when everybody else is paying? I get the same thing you do. Well, that one can make you lose your temper. What you'd have to do is just ask them, how can they do that? To me, such a small investment to reap so much, you know, it could have been 3 times what I was paying. It just didn't matter. I mean, it's nowhere in the world that you can invest such a little bit per week and get back what you get back. And not only in just 3-4 times the cash, but the benefits, the security, the pride, just the feeling you get from knowing that you have 20,000 people backing you up, that you're not by yourself standing in front of Tenneco.
We work, we pay, we negotiate for what we get.
I pay dues. You don't pay dues. My money is carrying you along. But if you took your money and put your money right beside of mine, we would have a bigger and a better union.
It takes money to run a strong union. Dues give the union the power to fight for your rights, and the money you put in comes right back through the collective agreement and in the services the union provides. Dues make it possible for the union to do many things. Dues income provides for the handling of members' grievances, arbitration, collective bargaining, administration of the local, education for effective representation. It also provides for the administration of the local special benefits program, which is for members only. This program includes legal services, tax preparation services, rehabilitation programs, member-only discount programs, and the list goes on. Many members have found that just by using the discount programs alone, they've saved enough money to more than pay for their dues.
All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the usual sign aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries.
Want to make a motion, please?
Everything the union does is decided by the members. It's a democratic organization. And as a member, you have a say in where the money goes and even who administers the local's affairs and who represents you. It's the union's job to protect the rights and work for the welfare of every member. The company is in business to make money. It does that by producing as much as it can for as little as it can, and if it could do the job without you, it would. The company, simply by its existence, provided you with a job. The union fought for everything else.
With this big company like this, you know, and I said, they not really thinking about your concern or mine. I said, if you care, you know, and if you got families, you want to keep your job, you can look all around the world, the economy is getting low. There's no jobs, and we're trying to keep our job. But only when we can keep our job, secure job, and our rights, we got to join, you got to be a member of the union so we have somebody on our side.
And if I could look each and every one of you right in the eyes, I would tell you to come on over, talk to us, join us, or not even join us the first time, but come and see. Just come and see the benefits that the union does offer, and I feel like that you would walk away with a whole different attitude.
There will come a point in time when the union may not be here for you, to represent you. Then you have no voice. You have nowhere to turn. The federal government has laws, but they are weak, and they're so backed up at this point that they're practically unenforceable. So in essence, if you have no union, you have nothing to turn to. except maybe a higher being.
There's a lot of problems with people thinking there's a free ride because it's going to catch up to you in the end. You're going to pay for it some way. Your deductible on your benefits might go up. Because if we lose, you lose. Everybody loses.
What we need to do is convince them that as long as we stay on the borderline, we're always in danger. And the more members we have, the better and the stronger the union is going to be, and the less problems you would have with the company.
Trying to explain to the non-member the real threat involved by them not joining. It's hard to do because so many of them were not here when it was so bad. You try to tell them, you try to make them understand that everything that they have, that they enjoy every day, that they do not think about, their automatic raises, their insurance, their, even the way that the supervisor treats them, even the way that there's no harassment, that makes it so easy, that all that can be lost so easy. Because once you drop under 50%, you know, you're going to have another election. It just rolls and happens so fast that they wouldn't know what to do. All of a sudden, they'd be sitting there enjoying this, and then all of a sudden, you'd be back to square one. They do not realize, and I have actually had them look at me and tell me, we've got all this stuff now. The company would, even if the union went out of here, something happened and they went out, as they call it, we still have what we got. They don't understand that the company could start every one of us at minimum wage, could pull every benefit we had, and it would be gone, all gone. And then they wouldn't have a choice. They would have to go out and strike or do something. They would have to do something to eat, to keep up their insurance, their pension. What are they going to do then? All of that can happen, and it's going to get there, too. If they don't wake up and start signing up, that's what's going to happen. We're going to be at square one all over again.
So you see, most people don't know all these things. Being a steelworker is the only way you can be protected, and your benefits will be here tomorrow. No one else can do that for you.
I guess you're right. I'll go ahead and join.
All right, you need to sign right here.
You know, that's exactly how it happened with me. An organizer came up to me and we talked. For a change, I listened to what he had to say. And I finally realized that we have a lot at stake here. It took a lot of struggle in the beginning, but people believed it was worth it. It took a lot to get everything that we have today. And there's no question it's going to take a lot to keep it. What I realized was that if each of us doesn't do our part, if we don't build up the strength of our membership, and if we don't do it now, we could lose it all.